Anthony, and today we're looking at have and have gots from the elementary students' book, Headway Plus. And I'd like to ask my colleague here, Mr. Liu, there's this basic difference between have and have gots. Would I be correct in saying that in America they don't usually use the word got?
Yeah, have got is not something you hear very often in America.
So, how would you describe something if you said you have something?
I would say I have a cold, or I have a new car, or I have a hotel I'm going to go to. I wouldn't say I have got a new car, or I have got a cold.
Okay, I have a cold. Well, actually, I have got a cold. So there's a basic difference there between British English and American English. I'll tell you what else I've got. I've got a cup of tea. Now, this is the contraction of I have. So we would say I've got a cup of tea. Whereas in America they would say, I have a cup of tea. Or probably coffee, actually. Because I have this cold, you see, I've got this cold. But I can say I have this cold. So we have to be a bit flexible in our terminology here. But generally speaking, in Britain, we would say, I have got this, I've got this, I've got that. So let's have a look at this. We're looking at the correct form of have got. London has a lot of parks. British English, we would say, London's got a lot of parks. Which is this one here. I don't have much money. I haven't got much money. I don't have much money. Which is the same as saying I haven't got much money, so in Britain we would say I haven't got much money. So, we're going to look at British English. I have a lot of homework tonight, so British English, I've got a lot of homework tonight. Do you have any homework? How would the British say that, Mr. Liu? Do you have any homework?
Have you got any homework?
Have you got any homework? I think that's probably right. Our school has a library, but it doesn't have any computers. How would the British say that, Mr. Liu?
Our school's got a library, but it hasn't got any computers.
But it hasn't got any computers. Yes, I think that's probably right. My parents have a new car. How would the British say that, Mr. Liu?
My parents have got a new car.
My parents have got a new car. Does your sister have a computer?
Has your sister got a computer?
Has your sister got a computer is probably the British way of saying it. Number 8, I don't have a problem with this exercise.
I haven't got a problem with exercise.
I haven't got a problem with this exercise is probably what the British would say. And being British, I think it's probably true. Let's have a look. I've got, as in I have, contraction, I've. I've got a lot of homework tonight. Have you got any homework? Our school has got a library, but it hasn't got any computers. My parents have got a new car. Has your sister got a computer? I haven't got a problem with this exercise. Here we have the negative form. And got doesn't actually mean anything. The thing is this, the word got sounds pleasant to the British ear. So the British like to say got, whereas in America it isn't generally used. That's the difference. When I was in Turkey, the same thing happens there. They have a word in Turkish called Gym Bomb, and it's synonymous with the Galatasaray Football Club. Galatasaray supporters, they chant and they bash drums and they chant Jim Bom, Jim Bom, Jim Bom, Jim Bom, with reference to victory for the Galatasaray football team. And there are also shops in Istanbul, for example, called Jim Bom. But in actual fact, in the Turkish language, Jim Bom means nothing. But, as we've got in the British English, it sounds pleasant to the ear. Jim Bom in Turkish sounds pleasant to the Turkish ear, as got sounds pleasant to the British ear, but not so much with the American. Different language, kind of. We have lots of differences between British English and American English, and especially with have and have got. So let's move on. Oh, by the way, I hope you like my flat cap. I have this cold. I've had it all week. It's killing me. I'm dying. Cold. It's strange, isn't it? A little tiny germ can just wipe you out. Look at that. Hopefully next week I shall have recovered. We will see. Now, we're going to go down here. Or up, perhaps. I've got more than you. So, we're going to work together here. We are both millionaires. Now, we're simply going to read millionaire A and millionaire B. I will be millionaire A and Mr. Lou will be millionaire B. I've got 4 houses. How many have you got?
5. I've got 2 in France, 1 in Miami, 1 in the Caribbean, and a castle in Scotland.
Well, I've got 30 cars.
That's nothing. I've got 50 cars.
How many apartments in Miami have you got?
I have 538 apartments in Miami.
Oh, you win. Yes, let's have a look at this. Now we're going to read about 3 hotels. This is Claridge's Hotel in London. It's 100 years old. It has got 292 rooms. It costs between $556 a night to $4,400 a night. So, from a relatively low price in terms of London hotels to very expensive. It's generally speaking, it's an upmarket hotel. It has got lots of wealthy clients. Then we have the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Hong Kong. It's 36 years old. It has got 542 rooms. And it costs $530 to $3,536 a night. So again, it's a bit more like the Hong Kong version of Claridge's. It takes 30 minutes to Cheklap-Kok Airport. So that must be the airport in Hong Kong. And it also has got a swimming pool. So, I'm just going to ask Mr. Liu a question here. How old is Claridge's Hotel in London?
100 years old.
100 years old, yes it is. How many rooms has Claridge's got?
292 rooms.
Yes, it has got 292 rooms. How much does Claridge's cost for one night?
$556 to $4,400 a night.
Yes, $556 to $4,400 a night. How long does it take to get to Heathrow Airport from Claridge's hotel?
35 minutes.
It takes 35 minutes to get to Heathrow Airport. Has Claridge's in London got a swimming pool?
No, it doesn't.
So, no, Claridge's hasn't got a swimming pool. So let's look at the Mandarin Hotel in Hong Kong, the Mandarin Oriental Hotel, I should say. How old is the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Hong Kong?
36 years old.
Yes, it's 36 years old. How many rooms has the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Hong Kong? How many rooms has it got?
542.
Yes, it has got 542 rooms. How much does it cost per night?
It ranges from $530 to $3,536 a night.
Yes. How long does it take to get to Chek Lap Kok Airport in Hong Kong?
30 minutes.
Yes, from the hotel it takes 30 minutes to get to the airport. Has the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Hong Kong got a swimming pool? Has it got a swimming pool?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it has got a swimming pool. Now we're going to look at the Al Bustan Palace Hotel in Muscat. How old is the Al Bustan Palace Hotel in Muscat?
20 years old.
It's 20 years old. I think the correct pronunciation for this is Muscat.
Okay.
How many rooms has the Al Bustan Palace in Muscat got? How many rooms has it got?
250 rooms.
Yes, it has got 250 rooms. How much does it cost for one night?
$260 to $1,223 a night.
Yes, it costs $260 to $1,223 a night. How long does it take to get to the Sebe International Airport? How long does it take to get to the Sebe International Airport?
40 minutes.
It takes 40 minutes to get to the airport. Has it got a swimming pool? Has it got a swimming pool?
It does.
Yes, it has got a swimming pool. That's very good. Now, correct the false sentences. How many correct sentences are there? And what do you notice about them? Here we are. Let's go up here. It says the Mandarin Oriental is cheaper than the Al Bustan. The answer, of course, is no, it isn't. It's more expensive. Al Bustan Palace is the cheapest. It says Claridge's is the most expensive hotel. Is that true or false, Mr. Liu?
Let me go back to the information again.
Okay.
Claridge's is the most expensive. Yeah, that's true.
So that's true, yes. It says Al Albustan Palace is older than the Mandarin. Is that true or false?
Back the information again. So was it Albustan is cheaper?
It says Albustan Palace is older than the Mandarin.
False. Mandarin's 36 years old. Albustan's 20 years old.
Yes. So the Mandarin is 36 years old and the Albustan is 20 years old. So the Mandarin Hotel is older than the Albustan Palace Hotel, which means that this is false. It says Claridge's is the oldest hotel. Is that true or false, Mr. Lou?
Claridge's is the oldest, true.
Yes, because Claridge's is 100 years old. So that's true. The Mandarin Oriental is the biggest hotel. Is that true or false, Lou?
The Mandarin is the biggest, yes.
So yes, the Mandarin Hotel is the biggest hotel. How do you know it's the biggest, Mr. Lou?
Because it has 542 rooms. Claridge's only has 292 rooms, and Albustan has 250 rooms.
Very good. Yes, it has the most number of rooms. Claridge's is smaller than Albustan Palace. Claridge's is smaller than Albustan Palace. Is that true or false, Lou?
False. Claridge's has 42 more rooms.
So that's false. Claridge's has got a swimming pool. Claridge's has got a swimming pool. Is that true or false?
It's false, no pool.
It's false. Claridge's hasn't got a swimming pool. Number 9. Claridge's is nearer the airport than the Mandarin. Claridge's is nearer the airport than the Mandarin. Is that true or false?
False. The Mandarin's only 30 minutes from the airport. Claridge's is 35 minutes.
Okay, so that's false. The Mandarin is the nearest to the airport. The Mandarin is the nearest to the airport.
Mandarin is in fact nearest, true.
So that's true. Number 11, the Albustan Palace is the furthest from the airport. Albustan Palace is the furthest from the airport.
Albustan Palace is the furthest, true.
And that is also true. So, which is the best hotel in Los Angeles, Mr. Lou? What's the best hotel? Which is the best hotel in Los Angeles?
Probably the most famous hotel is Beverly Hilton. It's been around for a long period of time. But the most expensive, I'm not really sure. I don't think the Beverly Hilton is the most expensive, but it's the most historic hotel.
And what does it have that perhaps other hotels don't have?
Well, the fact that it's really historic. I think that Robert Kennedy was shot there. I think he might have been.
Was he?
I think he might have been. Don't quote me on that, but I think he might have been. A lot of famous people have stayed there over the years. They have a bar in front. And I think they filmed a scene from The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman in Beverly Hilton. I think that's where it was.
Okay. So, for me, the best hotel in London is, of course, the Hilton Hotel in Park Lane. Now, back to our hotels, yes. Where was I? I've totally lost the plot now. Here we go, let's come down here. The grammar spot. Now with the headway books, they say that grammar spots are the most important parts. So we must have an understanding, a clear understanding of all the blue boxes, the grammar spots. So let's have a look at this. It says, complete these superlative sentences. Well, first of all, what's a superlative? Well, a superlative it kind of talks about the biggest, the most extreme. For example, big, that's the adjective. Bigger than, that's the comparative. The biggest, that's the superlative. Okay? So we're going to talk about the hotels with a superlative. The oasis is the, what? The superlative? Oh, the key is add est. So cheap, cheaper than, what does it do?
Cheapest.
Cheapest. The oasis is the cheapest hotel in Kuwait City. Now we have expensive. Now this is where it changes a bit. We don't say expensive because you couldn't say that. You have to say is the most expensive. So the Sheraton Kuwait is the most expensive hotel. Okay, so dictionaries often show irregular, comparative and superlative forms of adjectives. Look at this. Good as the adjective, better as the comparative, best as the superlative, because they are irregular. So we would say bad. What do you think goes here, Lou?
Worst.
Worst, yes. So we say bad as the adjective, worse than as the comparative, and the worst as the superlative. Now, far. What could you tell me about that one, Lou?
Further and farthest?
Yes, that's right. And the thing about the Headway Plus books is that at the back they have a list of these references. So I'm just going to read you a couple of the references which are outlined in the book. For example, we're going to look at adjective, comparative, superlative. One syllable adjectives. Old. Older than. The oldest. Safe, safer than, the safest. Big, bigger than, the biggest. Hot, hotter than, the hottest. So we have adjective, comparative, superlative. But that's with one syllable adjectives. Like old, safe, big, hot. Now a syllable is the amount of sounds in a word. So there's only one sound in old. Adjectives ending in the letter Y. Noisy. Noisier than. The noisiest. Dirty. Dirtier than. The dirtiest. Now we're going to look at adjectives with two or more syllables. For example, boring, boring. Beautiful, beautiful. That's three syllables. So, two syllables or more. Boring, more boring than. The most boring. So that's the rule. There's two syllables or more. Boring, more boring than. the most boring. Beautiful. What do you think beautiful? What's the comparative for beautiful, Mr. Liu?
More beautiful.
More beautiful. And the superlative?
Most beautiful.
The most beautiful, yes. Talking about irregular. Good. The adjective good is irregular because we say good, better, the best. Bad, worse than, the worst. But here's an interesting one. We talk about irregularities in the English language with superlatives. Far, further, the furthest, which is what I think my colleague said earlier. So there are many irregularities in English. English is not easy, it's difficult. But if we take it step by step by step, we get to learn all these irregularities in English. English is irregular. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of irregularities in English. It might be about 80% regular, but then there's this 20%, what we call the grey area, where you have all these thousands of exceptions in the English language. And the only way you can learn about these irregularities is through practice and repeat. Repeat. They say the key to any language is to repeat and repeat and repeat. And I found that over my 20 years of teaching English as a foreign language to be true. So, we're now talking about our class. So, Mr. Liu, how well do you know your colleague, Mr. Paul? How well do you know me?
I would say that we're better than acquaintances.
Okay. Could you describe me using any of these adjectives?
I would say he is tall, 62 years old, intelligent and funny.
So, as I'm 62 years old, would you say I'm the oldest or the youngest teacher in the class?
In the class, you're the oldest.
The oldest, yes. What about intelligent?
Yes, you're a teacher, so you're of course intelligent.
And as a superlative, what do you think?
I'd say you're very intelligent.
Yeah, very intelligent. You wouldn't say I was the most intelligent, though, would you? Because I know that you are extremely intelligent. I think possibly you could actually be the most intelligent in the class. But there again, I think that probably I'm the funniest in the class. What do you think about that? Mr. Liu, he's the most intelligent in the class, but Mr. Paul, he's the funniest in the class.
All men are big.
Oh, and we do have a colleague, and his name's Adol. And in actual fact, he is extremely tall. And Adol is the tallest. I think Adol is the tallest in the class. He's certainly taller than Musab. Ziad's the youngest. That's quite true. For Ziad, I have a student called Ziad. He's about 15. And I think he is the youngest in the class. I can't say this, because I actually think that Lou is the most intelligent in the class. Let's go up there. It's how you use what you know, and how you use the English language to the best of your ability, how you make use of what you know. So my advice is that you learn at least 10 new words, 10 new English words every day. But those 10 words, you must also learn how to use them in 10 separate sentences. And if you can do that, your vocabulary will expand exponentially. If you know what that means. I'm not sure. I might have to ask Mr. Liu. Okay, enough of that. The biggest and the best. Complete the conversations using the superlative form of the adjective. That house is very old. Yes, it's the oldest house in the village. Number 2, Miss Claridge's is a very expensive hotel. Mr. Liu.
Yes, it's the most expensive hotel in London.
Yes, it's the most expensive hotel in London. Number 3, Tehran is a very big city.
Yes, it's the biggest city in Iran.
You see, he answered before I asked him to answer. It's amazing, you see? So quick. How? Tehran is a very big city. Yes, it's the biggest city in Iran. New York is a very cosmopolitan city. Cosmopolitan means lots of different people, lots of different cultures, and we also refer to that as a melting pot. All different people from all different places. A bit like London, really. But how would we put that into the superlative form of the adjective? Mr. Liu.
Yes, it's the most cosmopolitan city in the world.
Yes, it's the most cosmopolitan city in the world. Here we have a Saudi word. It's chicken and rice, but they say kapsa. The other thing about the pronunciation, the Saudis say per, but they spell it with the letter B, which is, in English, pronounced b. Anyway, it says kapsa. Kapsa is a very popular dish. Lou?
Yes, it's the most popular dish in Saudi Arabia.
Yes, it's the most popular dish in Saudi Arabia. Richard is a funny boy. Lou?
Yes, he is the funniest boy in our class.
Yes, he's the funniest boy in our class, except for the teacher. Lulwa is a very intelligent student. Mr. Lu?
Yes, he's the most intelligent student in the university.
Very good. Let's just have a look at that one. This is a very easy exercise. Luke?
Yes, it's the easiest exercise in the book.
Yes, it's the easiest exercise in the book. Now I have a question for you. Why do we say the easiest? Okay, remember that. The easiest. Why do we say the most? That's my phone. Sorry about that, that's my phone. Now, why do we say the easiest but the most? And there's a reason for that. If a word begins with a vowel, as in the letter E, easiest, we pronounce the. Kind of sounds like T-H-E-E, the. The easiest, the apple, the orange, the umbrella, the iron, because they all begin with a vowel. If they begin with one of the other letters of the alphabet, for example the consonants, we say the. For example, the floor, the door, the most, the tallest, the shortest, the biggest, but the easiest. So that's why we pronounce the letters T-H-E differently. And that, gentlemen, brings me to the end of today's demonstration lesson. My name is Paul Anthony, and we've been looking at the Headway Plus book. And so long as you practice your English on a regular basis, building up your vocabulary, you will indeed become much more proficient and fluent in the English language. Thank you very much.